Hello friends. So, welcome to lecture series on essential mathematics for machine learning. In the last lecture, we have seen some of the basic concepts of calculus like gradient, directional derivative, partial derivatives, etc. Now, in this lecture, we will see some more concepts of calculus. So, first of all, we will discuss Jacobian. What do you mean by Jacobian? So, let function is from Rn to Rm. Okay. So, how we can define Jacobian? Now, here function is from Rn to Rm. So, that means we are having n input variable x1, x2 up to xn, okay, and we are having m number of output variables f1, f2 up to fm. So, here the Jacobian of f, it is a matrix basically. First you take f1, differentiate partial respect to x1, x2 up to xn. That means, it is nothing but gradient of f1, gradient of f2 and gradient of fm, and of course, transpose will be there. So, that will be nothing but del f1 upon del x1, del f1 upon del x2 and so on, del f1 upon del xn. Similarly, del f2 upon del x1, del f2 upon del x2, del f2 upon del xn, and last is del fm upon del x1, del fm upon del x2 and so on, del fm upon del xn. So, this is basically a matrix of m rows and n columns. So, that is how we can define Jacobian of f. It is nothing but a matrix of first order partial derivatives. Okay. So, of course, if m equal to 1, if you take m equal to 1, so this Jacobian of f will be nothing but gradient of f1 transpose, okay, only the first row if m equal to 1. So, how we can compute it? So, suppose you have this example, f is from suppose R2 to R2, okay, and so f of r theta is given by r cos theta and r sin theta. So, here f1 is basically, if you deal with, so we are calling it as f1 and this we are calling as f2. f1, f2 again the functions of r and theta. So, if here if you want to compute Jacobian of f, so Jacobian of f will be, how many unknowns here? We are having two unknowns. Unknowns are independent parameters of r and theta. So, you take f1 with respect to r, you take f1 with respect to theta, you take f2 with respect to r, f2 with respect to theta. So, that will be equal to, now this is f1, f1 is r cos theta, differentiate partial respect to r. So, this is cos theta. Now, f1 this with respect to theta is minus r sin theta. Now, f2 with respect to r, f2 is this, with respect to r it is sin theta and with respect to theta it is r cos theta. So, this 2 cross 2 matrix is basically Jacobian of this f. Okay. So, this is a function, this is a function from R2 to R2. Let us take another function from higher degree, maybe from R3 to R3. Let us take a function f from say R3 to R2, R3 to R2, okay, and say fx, y, z is defined like this, 3 input variable, say it is x square plus y square and y square plus z square. And suppose you want to compute Jacobian of f. So, again here you are having two functions f1 and f2, okay. So, this will be del f1 upon del x, 3 input variables del f upon del y and it is del f1 upon del z. Here it is del f2 upon del x, del f2 upon del y, del f2 upon del z. So, now what is del f f1 upon del x. See, this is f1 and this is f2. So, the partial derivative of this f1 respect to x. So, what it is? It is 2x, okay. With respect to y it is 2y, with respect to z this is 0. Now, for f2 with respect to x it is 0, with respect to y it is 2y, with respect to z it is 2z. So, this matrix of 2 rows and 3 columns 2 cross 3 is basically Jacobian of this particular example. So, in this way we can compute Jacobian of a function from Rm to Rn. Okay. So, this is how we can define Jacobian. Suppose you want to compute A21, this is the element A21. So, this is nothing but del f2 upon del x1. So, if m equal to 1, then this is nothing but gradient of this we have already seen. Now, next is Hessian matrix. So, what do you mean by Hessian matrix? The Hessian matrix is a matrix of second order partial derivatives. So, how we can constitute this? So, let us discuss this again by an example, and so let us suppose a function is from Rn to R. So, Hessian matrix of f is nothing but second order partial derivatives of f. So, this is given by del square f upon del x1 square, del square f upon del x1 del x2, and this is del square f upon del x1 del xn. Okay, that means this is nothing but del by del x1 of gradient of f. Okay. Similarly, del by del x2 of gradient of f. Similarly, del by del x1 of gradient of f. So, it is del by del x2 x1 of f, del square f upon del x2 square, del square f upon del x2 del xn, and here it is del square f upon del xn del x1, del square f upon del xn del x2, del square f upon del xn square. So, this n cross n matrix is basically called Hessian matrix of f. Okay. Now, if you carefully see that diagonal elements of this matrix are simply second order partial derivatives of f with respect to x1, x2 up to xn, and these diagonals, these elements are basically this is x1 x2, this is x2 x1, this is x1 xn, this is xn x1. Now, if these two are equal, I mean I want to say that if del square f upon del xi del xj is equal to del square f upon del xj del xi for all I and j, I not equal to j, then this matrix definitely will be a symmetric matrix. And when this will be equal, we know from the Euler's theorem that this will be equal if the partial derivatives, that is f x, f y, f x i x j, f x j x I are continuous, then they will be equal. This is by Euler's theorem. So, here it is mentioned that if all the partial derivatives f x, f y, f x y, f y x all exist and are continuous, then by Euler's theorem the order of differentiation can be interchanged. That means this is equal to this for all x and y, if these are exist and all are continuous. So, if it is hold for all x I x j, then this matrix will be a symmetric matrix. Okay. So, if we assume that all partial derivatives are continuous throughout the open region where the function is defined, throughout the open region, then Hessian matrix is symmetric. So, why we are dealing with symmetric matrix? See, so suppose Hessian matrix, we have assumed that Hessian matrix is symmetric and real matrix. So, the first important property of this is that all its eigenvalues are real, because if it is a symmetric matrix, then we know that all the eigenvalues of symmetric matrix are real. So, first of all we can say that all the eigenvalues of Hessian matrix are real. See, this important property is used in finding other aspects of Hessian matrix. We will discuss later on that how why we are discussing eigenvalues of Hessian matrix. We will discuss it later on that it has some significant role in deciding the definiteness of a Hessian matrix. Okay. So, the next is, let us find the Hessian matrix of a simple function. Let us suppose we have a function from say R 3 to R, and the function x y z is defined like this. Suppose some function is given by x cube plus 3 x y z plus z square x plus y square. Okay. So, what will be the Hessian matrix of f here? It will be function of 3 variables, that means del square f upon del x square, del square f upon del x del y, del square f upon del x del z, again del square f upon del y del x, del square f upon del y square, del square f upon del y del z. It is del square f upon del z del x, del square f upon del z del y, del square f upon del z square. So, let us compute this. So, del square f upon del s square is what? So, first you can compute f x is 3 x square plus 3 y z plus z square. What is f y? You can compute f y from here, 3, it is 3 x z plus 2 y, and f z is what? F z is 3 x y plus 2 z x. So, what is second order partial derivative of respect to x is 6 x. What is derivative of respect to y or with respect to x, sorry. So, it is 3 z. Okay. Then with respect to z, with respect to x of this, with respect to x, this is 3 y plus 2 z. Okay. Since it is symmetric, so this will come here and this will come here. Okay. Partial derivative of this with respect to y is 2, so 2 will come here, and del y del z, y with respect to z or z with respect to y. So, this will be with respect to y, with respect to y this is 3 x. If you take this respect to z, then it is also 3 x. So, 3 x will come here because matrix is symmetric, and f z z is nothing but 2 x. So, this is the Hessian matrix of this f. Okay. Now, we have some computation of matrix also in terms of gradient. So, vector and matrix gradient can be defined like this. If you want to compute gradient of this A transpose x, where A is a fixed vector, is not is independent of free from x, then the gradient of this will be nothing but A, and the gradient of x transpose A x will be given by this, where A is a square matrix. So, let us discuss how we can obtain this. So, first is A transpose x. A is a fixed, so A is a fixed vector which is A1, A2 up to An. This transpose is A, and x is basically x1, x2 up to xn, this transpose. So, what is A transpose x? A transpose x is nothing but it is A1, A2 up to An, and it is x1 up to xn. So, this is simply this row, this column, which is A1 x1 plus A2 x2 plus and so on An xn. Now, the gradient of f, gradient of this f here is A transpose x will be del of A transpose x upon del x1, del of A transpose x upon del x2, and so on, del of A transpose x upon del xn, this whole transpose. This will be the gradient of f by the definition of gradient. Now, if you take this f, this is A transpose x. So, what is the derivative? What is the first order? What is the partial derivative of this A transpose x with respect to x1? Because all are independent variables. So, with respect to x1 is nothing but A1 only. So, this will be nothing but A1, A2 and so on up to AN whole transpose, okay. And this is nothing but A, as we have already seen here, this is A. So, the first result we have shown that the gradient of A transpose X is nothing but A only, okay. Now, let us go to the second result, gradient of X transpose Ax, which is A plus A transpose X. Let us try to prove this. So, before proving it, let us understand what X transpose Ax is. So, for this let us take a simple example. Let A simply say you can take 1 minus 1 0 2. Let us take a simple example. Okay. So, what is X transpose Ax? So, X here will be, it is a 2 cross 2 matrix. So, X will be x1 x2. Okay. So, this will be nothing but x1 x2, this is 1 minus 1 1 0 2 0 2 and this is 0 2 and this is x1 x2. So, this will be x1 x2, this row this column is x1 minus x2, this row this column is 2 x2. So, this is x1 square minus x1 x2 plus 2 x2 square. So, by simple calculation we can obtain X transpose Ax as this. Now, let us compute gradient of this. Gradient of this means here there are only 2 variables. So, means del of this respect to x1 and del of this respect to x2, del of this respect to x2. So, this is nothing but, so you first differentiate this respect to x1. Respect to x1 it is 2 x1 minus x2, respect to x2 it is minus x1 plus 4 x2 transpose. So, this is nothing but, if you see here it is 2 x1 minus x2, it is minus x1 plus 4 x2. Okay. So, this is further equal to 2 minus 1 minus 1 4 x1 x2. See, this row this column gives first vector, this row this column gives second element. Now, if you see this matrix, so this matrix is nothing but 1 minus 1 0 2 plus 1 minus 1 0 2 with x1 x2. See, this plus this is 2, this plus this minus 1, this plus this minus 1, this plus this 2. This is A and this is A transpose. Okay. So, we can say we have verified this this second point. This verification is only for illustration, that what do you mean by X transpose Ax and how we have obtained this. So, next we are having chain rule. So, for a single variable function, composition of 2 functions f and g of dash of x is nothing but f dash gx into g dash x, where this denotes function composition. So, this is basically chain rule which we can other extend it to multivariable also. So, suppose f is from Rm to R and g is from Rn to Rm, then the composition of this which is from Rm to R, the gradient of this is nothing but Jacobian of g transpose into gradient of f gx. So, this can be easily obtained using this calculus of single variable functions and definition of Jacobian gradient, and this can be further generalized for function from Rm to Rk as Jacobian of f of g is nothing but Jacobian of g of f x into Jacobian of g of x. Okay. So, for chain rule let us discuss one example for this. Suppose you are having w equal to x square plus y square. Suppose x is u square plus v square and y is equals to u v. Okay. So, w is a function of x and y are again the function of u and v, and suppose you want to compute del w upon del u. So, what it is? It is del of w upon del x into del x upon del u, because x and w is a function of x and y and x and y in terms are the function of u and v. So, it is del y into del y upon del u. So, what is del upon del x is 2x, what is del x upon del u is 2u plus del f upon del y is 2y and this is 2u again del y. Okay. So, del y is basically v. So, this is 4xu plus 2yv. So, now if you want to compute del upon del w upon del v, so this is nothing but del upon del x into del x upon del v plus del w upon del y into del y upon del v. So, this is 2x into this del x upon del y is 2v plus this is 2y into this is u. So, this is 4xv plus 2yvu. So, this is basically one simple example of chain rule. So, in this way we can also find out higher order derivatives using chain rules. Okay. So, thank you very much for hearing me.